banana omelette for breakfast, and then we got ready. The temperature was 25 degrees and the humidity was 95%. We set off knowing little of what to expect from the day's riding. The first hold-up was some road building. Lots more landslides along the route. Wherever we went, the food was incredibly good. We used to have fresh vegetables and spring rolls every single day. It was just the meat sometimes gave us some question marks. There were lots of different influences like Thai curry and Japanese food and French cuisine also. The Vietnamese invitation for lunch is Ăn Com, literally, let's eat rice. The population is about 95 million. I was interested to read that about 10% are Buddhist, but 80% have no religion. Adult literacy is apparently about 93%. Something we realized was that in some of the poorer villages, they obviously didn't have a crapper because we saw people doing their business in the bushes. Here we were heading down into a very poor village where we were going to stop for a drink and find out about the river crossing. It turned out that the bridge had been swept away. To go back around to the next bridge was a very long diversion. This was our little drink stop, really not very nice. Here's where the bridge had been swept away. We were told that we could take a raft. There was an oh shit moment coming.
You okay?
The raft was made of newly cut bamboo, strapped together, and it was incredibly slippery, as you can see Jasper's back wheel spinning, and the raft was only about 1 meter wide. Just getting up the bank was quite a challenge after enduring crossing the swollen river on this raft. Then it was my turn. Crossing the bloody river. There's no way we'd do this in the UK. We continued much relieved, but there were still more crossings to make. There were few signs of prosperity in this area. And here was a suspension bridge of bamboo. We were very glad to be on terra firma. Careful of other people on scooters. And then another Ford. In this building on the right, there was just a large group of men doing pretty much nothing. But the open road was calling like a nearly forgotten memory from childhood. This road might be clear and then it might be flooded. Along this stretch we found some traffic police who had stopped a vehicle. An officer had a red whistle in his mouth and stared at me as we went past. Some locals were waiting a little bit further on, waiting for the cops to move on. By now it was beginning to feel like we'd left the high mountains behind us. But we still had to be very careful. There were still all sorts of hazards along the road. We were riding towards some rain, and we got another very good soaking. Across this metal suspension bridge, and we were getting closer to our destination of Bao Lac. A group of Aussies were on a tour using Russian Urals and some well-needed feet-up time. The homestay was right by the lakeside and our room was very pink. We went out for a little boat trip on the lake. It was a metal boat with a noisy engine. The lake is one of 31 national parks in Vietnam. With dense forest and limestone cliffs. The national park is a rainforest area with about 500 plant species. I like to think about the Viet Cong army hiding in amongst the dense jungle. Out in the lake there was an island like an outcrop of rock.
Okay, go.
Later on I talked to one of the Aussies who said that riding a Ural in the mud was like a bulldozer. Our final day on our tour. We were up early because we had a long way to go. We set off at 7:45 in the morning. Jasper had said that this was really a tough thing to do. He was shattered, harder than D of E. The road took us along beside the lake. We had to pay to cross this little suspension bridge, like a toll bridge. The rain came down and we got another very good soaking. But we had well dried off by the time lunch came. Following my son, I thought about the time I got him his first motorbike when he was 11 years old. We had ridden together off-road in Wales as well as in Scotland. We were back on the wide open plain of the Red River. As we approached Hanoi, the highways got more modern and more lanes and more traffic. We approached the Red River Bridge with the city just beyond on the far bank. On some of these roads there are 3 lanes of cars and 2 lanes of scooters. Here you can see the delights of Hanoi traffic. At last we pulled in from the highway to where we'd started from. We had covered over 900 kilometers in 6 days, without a scratch. The next day we headed out to the airport with a head full of memories and a body that was weary.